Hello, everyone. So I've been creating AI-based articles and videos, for the last couple of months, and this is the fourth edition of such article and video. And in this video, I'm going to kind of summarize. It's like a kind of a navigator for you. It's kind of a catalog for you for everything that has happened so far at a very high level. So that way, just in case if you missed my previous episodes, no worries. You should be able to get most of the stuff that's going on. The primary purpose here is to be able to catch up what's going on, all the madness that's happening in the generative AI world, and be able to ride the wave. And that's the title of my first article is when a tsunami is coming, you could do two things. Either you just wait and get swept away, or learn to ride the wave and save yourself at the same time, take benefit and advantage of what's going on in the world. So let's jump right in. I'm going to basically walk you through a bunch of the websites and the actual tools so that you'll basically understand what's going on. All right. So what are we doing here? Basically, Navigator for generative AI, just like I said, the first slide is all about just a quick recap on what does generative AI do. We all know what computers do. We all know what AI and ML, they have been around for more than a decade, and artificial intelligence and machine learning and everything else, all related tools and systems. But then at a very high level, you're talking about content generation on steroids, so to a level where this is a generative AI can actually write books that you would take months and years to write in probably in a couple of hours and days. So you can actually write hundreds and hundreds of books, generates content that doesn't exist before. Number two is content summarization, just in case if you have a library of books, you wanted to read and just summarize it for you. Knowledge-based articles and many other applications that are there. Number three, image generation. It can generate. It's actually similar to content generation. Image itself is another type of content. And there's a DALI by OpenAI, and there are various different companies and organizations who are basically delivering products on this. This is essentially, it can create an image that does not exist. It can do pencil drawings, oil paintings, and whatnot. I think there is one thing that we thought machines cannot do, which is the creative painting. The news is they do now. And the fourth one is code generation. This is actually fantastic and fascinating. You heard about Amazon Code Whisperer, GitHub Copilot, and a number of other tools like code gen tools across the board. And they can actually build entire websites or a whole code just by a couple of lines of natural language prompt. That's about it. Life is going to be totally different for developers, and predictive analytics and many more. So there are multiple websites, that I can actually show you, which basically talk about, there's a website called, AImultiple.com, which basically has 70 different types of AI applications, so you could just go and whatever I told you is very high level um, stuff. But when you actually start digging in, just in content generation itself, you'll find hundreds and hundreds of different applications. Okay, so that's one part of it. So we covered it last time, and we spoke about multiple different types of websites and companies that are in this game. So let me quickly walk you through what those are. Okay, this slide is about the tsunami of LLMs, or LLM is nothing but large language model, and you could call it a generative AI. So there are multiple different names, but it's also more or less same. But then they're slightly different with the different applications and functions, which I'll go deeper soon. So it's basically the timeline is not really far back. It's just last 5 years what is happening, and I'm sure it doesn't contain all of them, but very high level ones. If you look at it, it starts from on the left is basically Elmo, and then you have GPT, and Google started pretty early as well, and BERT, and then as you go, you can see the number of models are actually growing. Number of companies who are actually inventing is much higher than you can expect, and I'm sure, like I said, it doesn't contain everything. It'll be 10x, 100x more than this. As we speak, new LLMs are taking shape. Now, and this is the reason I have this slide is OpenAI by far so far the best generative AI that is available with the widest range of applications and features and capabilities. So So OpenAI started in December 2015, and that's when a bunch of folks, Sam Altman and even Elon Musk, basically kind of contributed and funded to with the goal of making AI is open, so that all the great things that AI can do, you could actually take in, and all the bad things that it can do, try to control and govern it. Okay, but eventually, the non-profit or open AI became closed AI because Microsoft started investing in it, and then the Azure OpenAI products started actually coming into the market. But then, nevertheless, it is by far the best so far that we have. Google and Amazon and Facebook and everyone is trying to catch up so far, but still today it is the by far the best so far we have. You will see it in my next slide. I'm going to basically show more details about who's in the market. Okay, so that's about OpenAI. Okay, so when I'm talking about OpenAI, sorry, generative AI, you basically have there is a general model, right? And there are also codecs. So these are two top variants that we can see. General is something that anything it can do multiple different things. So it can generate content, pictures, or summarize for you. But then I also called out code assist separately because it is one very specific but very useful feature. So this is for me to actually compare. So what you see below the page is multiple different companies like a Hugging Face, Alpaca, Stability AI, Cohere, Lighton, and AI21. So all these are open LLMs, okay, large or generative AI, like from a smaller companies, either they are open or they are from smaller different companies. But on the top, I'll actually show you who are actually leading for. So, like I said, OpenAI, and I also showed you OpenAI's lifetime. They started in 2015 and made waves and still making waves. So, but then most notably in November 2022, about 8 months back, they launched a GPT 3.5, and that actually stuck as a tsunami for everyone. And that's when we started because there were other language models that OpenAI had, but it never really kind of interactive models. But then with the Chat GPT, where you actually have a chat interface where you could actually ask in natural language and actually respond back. That kind of changed the game for them. And it also has a codex, obviously, and then there's a DALI image generator, and then the plugins that OpenAI introduced kind of multiplied and exponentially the capabilities of OpenAI. One example is OpenAI cannot access internet. All the data that it has kind of ends in 2019. But think about this. With a plugin, a web browser plugin, it can actually access internet and give you latest information that you need. So, like that, there are multiple plugins to get a lot of stuff done. So it kind of takes like a 3D, three-dimensional model to probably like multiple more dimensions, just out of the world. That's OpenAI. And then, like I said, Microsoft invested in OpenAI sometime in 2019. They were talking about 1 billion, and then most recently they're talking about 10 billion pledge. And Microsoft owns 49% of OpenAI, and basically Microsoft integrated OpenAI generative AI into most of their products, into Dynamics 365 CRM, their M365, all the and then it's also there in GitHub Copilot. And so the Copilot concept that Microsoft came up with is essentially you are the pilot, and then your generative AI is co-pilot for you, whether you're trying to do CRM, you're trying to do creating a presentation or writing a Word document, doing an Excel sheet, writing code, whatever you're trying to do, basically you have a co-pilot doing stuff for you. It might start with 10, 20%, it might like end up actually doing 80% of your work. That's Azure OpenAI for you. And on the top, I have put the date January towards the right because Microsoft kept on launching features and new capabilities every alternative week, and they're just not letting it go. That's one, and third one is AWS. So AWS has not done a lot, but in April 13th they came up with Bedrock announcement. Basically, Bedrock in itself is not a generative AI, but it's a think of a framework where other generative AIs like a Stability AI or Hugging Face or Cohere. All these guys can actually plug in. So and then it can be like offered to you on platter. The benefit with that and slight difference advantage compared to Azure OpenAI is in Azure OpenAI, you get only OpenAI specific like ChatGPT, GPT-4 kind of models, right? Whereas in Amazon AWS, once you get the Bedrock, you will be able to plug in. You'll have a choice to actually choose from multiple different type of open or closed LLMs and be able to integrate from them depending upon the feature set, cost, and everything else. So, in my view, I think that's a great advantage. Really hope they actually come up with something that is used more publicly and production ready soon. Right now, they don't have anything yet, but what they do have is Code Whisperer. Code Whisperer, like an amazing codex, and it's working almost equal or better than GitHub Copilot in many cases. So if you have not tried that and you're a developer, and you must try that. Last but not least, you have seen in the journey of AI last 5 years, Google has done a lot of great stuff, but somehow I think they kept it under the wraps, probably because of the negative consequences, right? But then after ChatGPT came in, Google started actually relooking at everything, and then they came up with Bard, okay, or they also call Palm 2. So this is essentially we are talking about May 10th when Google I/O conference, Sundar Pichai kind of unveiled multiple different tools, which are like really fascinating, right? So all in all, here is the landscape. Here is your state of where the LLMs are, where the generative AI is, just for your notice. Does it contain everything? Not really. There are hundreds and hundreds more, but these are the top ones that you should watch out for. They can, if you are a business owner or you are working as a senior executive leadership at a company, then you must know the capabilities of these models. And if you are an individual, like an employee, but you want to take an advantage of it, I'll actually next step, I'll actually show you what else can we do as an individual capability to take benefit of these models. Okay, so I'll in the future videos I'll try and keep these guys up to date. But at this point, I'm personally in touch with all these the cloud vendors and these open source LLMs, and we're actually trying to build different models to see how we can benefit from them. Okay. So, last but not least, okay, this slide is nothing but the multiple different AI models that are available in the market from different companies and what they're good for, right? OpenAI, it says best overall. Okay, Hugging Face, it's my personal favorite. It says community-driven open AI development. I'll show you their website and a few other details going forward, but think about it. And Hugging Face is actually doing a lot of code development with Amazon, Facebook, and ServiceNow and various other companies. So we got Google. They say it's good for capability. I'm yet to see their capabilities, honestly speaking. Microsoft, we spoke about it. All the productivity and business operations is tightly integrated with this capabilities. I would say Microsoft is probably the first company to integrate generative AI deeply and more usefully in today's world. Cohere, natural language processing, it's mainly I think kind of leader in processing natural language more accurately. Anthropic, so Anthropic is all about content generation. Jasper, Glean, synthesis, Stability AI. So Stability AI is my second probably best favorite. They basically say that AI for everyone, kind of the punchline. So Stability AI is like another similar system like a Bedrock, right? It can actually create a platform where you can actually plug in other LLMs so that you can actually work with them. Light breaks and inflection AI. So the credit for this slide goes to eweek.com. This is where I found this analysis. Now, jumping quickly, we also spoke about OpenAI and how do you, at an individual capability, what can you do, right? To make best out of LLMs. So OpenAI is the first company, like I said, they did it. So we were basically talking about various different. So I was actually playing with it, asking for what are the real life applications of OpenAI or generative AI for themselves, and so you get all this information here. So in my last videos, I spoke about if you are a job recruiter, how do you use it? If you're a student, how do you use it? and various different applications. But this is the interface. You sign up. There is a free version, but there is also you have a premium version. When you actually do upgrade, basically you got to pay $20 per month. It's probably the best ROI for $20 you can ever get. It just revolutionizes your world. But otherwise, there's many things that you could do. Some of the real life scenarios that I can think of as basically come up with strategy, right? Pipe and strategy for my edtech um, company to get to 1 billion revenues. Very random, but so basically, it gives you more theoretical answers in like how do you get it and everything else. But then with the web browsing functionality and the plugin, you'll be able to ask GPT to go on the internet, do the research, give us more tangible and useful information that we will ever need. So same thing with the Bard, right? I was asking Bard basically, hey, what are your primary business applications? It basically says I can do help you with customer service, marketing, sales, product development, research, and in addition to above, Salesforce, right? Using LLMs to create sales pitches that are tailored to each individual customers, and this has resulted in 15% increase in closing deals, basically closed deals, so which is phenomenal. IBM, Google, and there are many more companies, obviously. So that's Bard. So we spoke about Google I/O event, where I think you must go check it out. So Sundar Pichai and their entire group basically did a wonderful job there. So if I um, uh, Yeah, here we go. So here, I think you should definitely go and check out that video. It's very informative and a lot of different tools, not just one. It was kind of available, announced. And so this happened on May 10th. And this is the 13th April AWS announcement I was talking about. So they spoke about the Bedrock, spoke about also coming out with the chips, which actually helps you generate generative AI. And then Code Whisperer, that's my personal favorite for the code gen. Okay. We spoke about stability AI, and we spoke about AI by the people, AI for the people, right? I think this is exactly what stability is talking about. There are multiple open source models, right? And you could actually do stable diffusion, different other products also they have. Cohere, again, like I said, this one is a language model for the enterprise. That's what they're calling. This is Alpaca, and this is Stanford University's own. Alpaca is supposedly probably uh, the LLM that has a very small footprint where you'll be able to even deploy it on your laptop and be able to get very reasonable benefits as compared to other ones. Hugging Face, like I said, this is if you look at it here, there is Microsoft, there is Google, Amazon, Meta, Intel. All these companies are kind of innovating, and if you look at their numbers, Microsoft has 253 models that are built, whereas Google has 587, and so on and so forth. All these large companies are building on top of Hugging Face. So, and this is basically Google's again, the AI related page where there's a lot more information that is kind of given. So all in all, yeah, I've kind of covered, kind of summarized everything that was going on in this particular artificial intelligence world. So going back to my favorite slide, here's where we are, my friends. So the world has changed a lot this year, and it is super exciting and scary at the same time. Like I said in my first version or episode of this particular um, the series. And but my recommendation for all of you is spend your weekends or nights when you're not doing much, or rather than, no offense to social media, but rather than scrolling through your Insta feed, scroll through AI feeds and try to understand what's going on. Try to figure the right model for you, whether it's a chat interface or any other interface like API interface, if you're a developer or programmer, but find something that works for you and start using it for your benefit or your growth. So I'm sure it is going to improve your productivity anywhere between 10% to almost say 200%. It could double your productivity in no time. And trust me, that is truth. It all depends upon what you do with the research of these LLMs and how are you going to use it. So I can't stress enough on it. And so with that, I wish you all, all of you, a great research and spend your weekends and days wisely. This job market or none of them can kind of impact you if you kind of ride this wave. All right. So with that, thank you so much and wish you all the best.